Unlock the secrets of franchising success with the Franchise Life podcast. Hosted by Stacie Shannon. Join us for expert insights, success stories, and practical tips every week. Subscribe now and take your franchise journey to the next level.
Hello, and welcome to the Franchise Life. Today, we have a brand called Pierce Bespoke, and with me, I have Nathan Pearce, the founder. Welcome, Nathan.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
My pleasure. All right, so I'm going to let you share the highlights of what Pierce Bespoke is. I've been really excited about this because ever since I became more familiar with the brand, it is so one of a kind and in such a niche market. I absolutely love it. So Pierce Bespoke is a modernized traveling tailor service. So how did you come up with this brand? I mean, it is very unique. Tell me a little bit about your history.
Yeah, so I think it kind of contradicts itself that a 33-year-old CEO owns a custom clothing franchise company of all things. Most people think of the old school tailors on the corners. And it's honestly what's kind of cool about the entire concept is we're flipping it on its head. We're modernizing it in a way. But yeah, my history kind of goes back to when I was in college, actually. I started my first clothing company at 20 years old, and it just happened to be a rocket ship, right place, right time. By the end of my first year of business, I started that first clothing company with like $2,000, and by the end of our first year, we did $2 million in sales. I took every dollar I made from that brand, and I did something absolutely insane. I bought an old factory in South Mississippi where LL Bean used to manufacture all their products. And by the time I was 21, I had over 100 employees that worked for me. We were making T-shirts, we were making polos. I bought the equipment to make dress shirts. I ended up hiring away Brooks Brothers plant manager to come run that factory in Mississippi. So we were making some of the best quality products in the country. And it was kind of my journey into clothing and manufacturing. In my 20s, I got a very in-depth lecture on not just textiles and cut and sew and quality control, but wholesale. I mean, we were in 1,000 retail stores by my second year. E-com, we launched online only with my first T-shirt company. We did a few $1 million in sales with it, all the way down to private labeling, where we were manufacturing clothes for some of the biggest retailers in the world. But I don't know if you could ask for a better education into an industry than what I got in my 20s.
That is incredible. So when you were growing up, did you think you were going to be a clothier and own a manufacturing plant? It just amazes me how life takes you to certain places.
For sure. So no, the answer is no. I never in a million years would have thought I would even be in clothing, which is hilarious. Yeah, people ask me all my time, what did I get my degree in? It was just a business degree. And I think, when you're a born entrepreneur, I think back to even high school. Like I was pretty short in high school, and I rented out my locker that was like a prime real estate locker above everybody else's that everybody wanted. And I rented it out for a monthly fee and made reoccurring revenue off the locker that I didn't really use anyway. So, I was just an entrepreneur. I was always looking for new opportunities. And, I had an idea for a T-shirt company with a business partner in college, and it just happened to be an absolute rocket ship. And I've been in clothing ever since. I think it's one of those things when you get really good at something and you learn the ins and outs of it, you kind of stick with it and you just continue to build off of it. And I think it is kind of funny, the journey from what started with T-shirts to polos to dress shirts to now suits is a very interesting journey. It just kind of becomes a bigger and bigger ticket with a higher quality product. But it has been an absolute blast. I got to tell you, I love clothing.
So you founded this company in 2019, started franchising in 2022, and you currently have 44 territories sold throughout the United States with 33 investors. That is in 2 years. That is pretty phenomenal.
Thank you. Well, it is, I think one of the more shocking things is that we did it all in-house with no FSO. That's literally me and one other person, part-time doing development all by ourselves. And I get asked all the time, how in the world are you doing the development, which is a full-time job with that many locations and running the company? And I just tell them I don't sleep very much, but here's why I think the growth has kind of taken place. Yeah, and it's actually a part of our pitch to our candidates. There are, it is an awesome model. I'm biased, obviously, but it's a no inventory, no retail store business in a trunk. In fact, the trunk is right here behind me. So it's our showpiece. All the fabrics, buttons, linings, they fit inside the trunk. And we're a sales company. It just happens to be custom clothing that we sell. And the good news about that is we have some of the biggest margins in franchising, a 70% product margin on average. It's a low cost investment franchise because there's no retail, there's no inventory, there's very little overhead, there's minimal staffing. We don't have W-2 employees. It's all 1099 commission sales reps. So we eliminated a lot of the headaches that people usually have in franchise systems. And then you add on top of that, it's a low cost franchise model. It's a recipe for success. But I really get people with most franchises are boring. And we have one that is the opposite of boring. It is a fun, feel good business. And it really boils down to two things that our mission is create convenience for people and create confidence for people. And I tell people the only thing better than putting on a perfectly tailored suit is being the guy that made the perfectly tailored suit. And that's what our franchise owners get to do every single day. They build confidence for people, and we get to see people's reaction when they put custom clothing on for the first time. And it's a feel good business.
So, okay, you said a lot of interesting things that I want to unpack. But before we move forward, I want to take a step back because I may have heard that you fulfilled one of my long time dreams of being on Shark Tank. So, what got you on Shark Tank and how did that experience turn out for you?
Yeah. So my second year of business with that t-shirt company, we were positioned where producers from Shark Tank reached out to us, and we were we were actually getting knocked off by a lot of other brands on our concept that we built. And to put a stop to it, we were like, yeah, we should go on Shark Tank. Everyone watches Shark Tank. And if we go on there, it'll kind of shut up all the knockoffs that are out there. So 10 interviews later, we ended up getting invited out to pitch to the producers. And if you do okay on that, then you get to go through to the Sharks and pitch in front of them. And it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. I mean, these were my idols. I'd seen every episode of Shark Tank. And when my business partner and I at the time got to go pitch, it was just surreal. It's quite a long pitch. You got cameras in your face. You're in a hot warehouse building, and it is a lot of pressure. And we were fortunate to have absolutely crushed it. We got called one of the best pitches in Shark Tank history. It was season 6, and it was awesome. We ended up we confirmed a deal verbally with Mark Cuban, and it ended up unfortunately not going great at the end of the entire situation. There were a couple of things that kind of prevented it from going through, but overall, my God, you want to talk about a cool like milestone and moment that I'll never forget. Just being able to pitch to him and get a verbal commitment from Mark was one of the coolest things of all time.
Absolutely. I mean, look at all of the gates you had to go through to even get to stand on that stage. And I can just tell from your personality, you would crush any type of challenge like that. So, well, congratulations. That I know it's a few years behind you, but what an amazing achievement. And I think that just even further speaks to your entrepreneurial spirit and your grit, right? That you have. Okay. So this is, you said this builds confidence and it's fun, right? And it is very unique. So let's talk a little bit about the opportunities that you've had. So the large part of it right now is focused on men's custom suits, right? But I do know that you have a female line of clothes that, is also a part of the end solution. But you have had the opportunity to work with stars. I've seen some of your hype videos that you've created. These suits are not only customized to fit an individual, but you can even custom like the inside of the suit to be branded with a national sports brand. Or I saw there was, I believe, a bank perhaps that might have been branded. So, talk me through some of those individuals that you've had the opportunity to work with through Pierce Bespoke.
Yeah. So it is super cool, super fortunate that I've had the opportunity to fit some of the best athletes in the world, some of which are Eli Manning, Drew Brees, LSU football, Jaden Daniels. I made his Heisman suit that he wore on stage this year. In fact, when he won the Heisman, I sold 13 franchises just from the PR. So it has just been a snowball effect, and I think what it kind of speaks to is the quality of the product, the service behind it, making sure customer service is dying in today's age. And one of the things that we have a really big focus on is making sure we bring it back. When you buy a Pierce Bespoke product, it's not just about the product, even though it's amazing quality. It has handmade details in every garment, things that you recognize for a high-end custom bespoke suit. We have in our affordable price range of $900. So it's an affordable line. But I think the service kind of backs it up. And what that means is if you buy a suit from us and your button breaks, you text your suit girl or your suit guy, and they're going to come pick it up and replace it for you. If your zipper gets caught or the dry cleaner messes something up, you text your suit guy or suit girl, and they're going to come pick it up and they're going to fix it. If you lose 10 pounds and your suit doesn't fit from the last time we measured you, they'll come pick it up, they'll alter it, and they'll bring it back to you. So you don't need cut and sew experience to own our franchise. You don't need clothing experience to own the franchise. We train you on all the things you need to know. Like I said, we're just a sales company, but one of the big celebrities that I had the opportunity to fit over the last couple of months is actually Barron Trump. I got invited to Mar-a-Lago. I've been there 3 times now, actually. In fact, the last time I went, my wife said I was not allowed to go without her. So I brought her along. But one of the freaking coolest moments of all time was Barron bought 7 suits from me, 6 suits in a tuxedo, 7 dress shirts. But yeah, again, it speaks to taking care of your clients. I train my franchisees, their managers and their sales reps that it's not about the first sale when you own this franchise. It's about making sure that they're happy with the product and they're satisfied and it fits the way they want it to, and they built the product the way they want it to. And if you get that part right, that customer is going to buy every single month or at least every single quarter from you. And they're going to double the order size the next time they buy. The first order is just a test, but it's just because we take care of our people. And when you take care of them, they tell the world about you. And that's where the referrals have come in, like Barron Trump and Eli Manning and Drew Brees and all these other guys.
Absolutely incredible. You talk about this is absolutely a referral-based business. I mean, the customization and having something that fits you to a T. I mean, as you mentioned previously, it builds confidence. And these individuals that you've had the opportunity to work with, I mean, they're at a level where they could go out and they could spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a suit, but you are providing a customized product, customized tailored product at a reasonable price. So what is the range of, you mentioned 900, I've heard a couple thousand. What is the range typically of a customized suit?
Yeah, so our average ticket is about $1,500, which is usually a couple of sport coats, a couple of trousers. Usually it's multiple products, but our average ticket's $1,500. That's nationwide. We have some territories where their average ticket's more like $2,300, $2,400. And it's usually your cities where people are used to spending a little bit more money. But like I said earlier, on that $1,500 average ticket, the average margin is 70%. And all of our customers pay 100% upfront. So in terms of the model, you're not chasing people around for money. There's not an accounts receivable. You've got big margins. They're paid up front. There's no inventory. There's no retail store. And I don't know if there's a better model out there in terms of how it's operated. You mentioned earlier some of the custom logo options, and you're spot on with the affordability. Our average suit sells for about $1,200. Our opening range is 900. It goes all the way up to 3 or 4 grand. So it kind of fits within, what our customers are looking for. If you're used to spending $2,500 on a suit, typically you don't want to drop down and buy a suit for $900. You might want to save a little bit, but if that's your range, you usually stay within that range. And that range is usually based on 2 things, the fabric makeup and the construction of the garment.
So let's chat a little bit about from the time that you outfit and measure an individual for a customized suit. What does that time frame look like from measurement and order and payment to the suit being delivered to them?
So, and I'll kind of jump around on all the competitive advantages from a consumer standpoint. Like, why would you buy a custom piece from Pierce Bespoke versus some of the competitors that are out there, or the retail store around the corner that's out there? And there's really 3 reasons. In fact, I've been told my whole life, you can pick 2 out of the 3. You can't have all 3. You can have speed and affordability, but you can't have quality. You can have affordability and quality, but you can't have speed. This is the first brand that I've ever built, including owning factories, where we have all 3. So affordability, we've touched on. Our 2-piece suits start at $900. Speed is our second competitive advantage. And we have some of the fastest delivery times of custom products in the nation at 3 to 4 weeks. In fact, if our customers are in a bind, we can even rush things in 2 weeks. The third is quality. We have handmade details in every garment, handmade buttonholes, hand-picked stitching on the seams, functional sleeve buttons on all the jackets. And then we added a 4th, which is options. When you meet with us, when you meet with a clothier, we don't have an opportunity where we meet with someone and they go, you don't really have what I'm looking for. We have thousands of fabrics, buttons, lining styles to choose from. And what you touched on earlier was the custom logo liners. That means if you're a business owner, you can send us your logo. We can upload it and put it on the liner of the inside of the jacket. If you have you're a pet lover and you take your dog's face and send it to us, we'll repeat your dog's face on the inside of the jacket and make sure they're with you everywhere you go. For weddings, we'll take the groomsman jacket. We'll take photos of the bride and groom throughout their dating history. We'll make a collage on the inside liner of a jacket, and they have a special piece for their big day. So there's all sorts of opportunities. In fact, the market's humongous. Weddings are big. Business professionals are a great market for us. It's endless. It really is.
So where do you find your clients? I mean, let's set aside, all the stars and the athletes that you've mentioned. Where do your franchise owners typically find and make a segue into their market?
Yeah, love that question. So what we always start with is networks, your immediate networks, and joining networking groups, BNI, Chamber of Commerce, young professionals. There's no better opportunity to sell somebody than being a part of the community. And the benefit we have in being a part of the community is we look the part. So when I walk in a double-breasted custom suit, everybody goes, my God, man, I love that suit. Where'd you get it from? We're a billboard everywhere we go. And that usually transfers into leads and appointments when you're surrounding yourself with business professionals who are in a similar setting. So we start with networking groups, and we want to join every one of them, including the Chamber of Commerce. But the second part to this is, as you're meeting business owners, we want to partner with their businesses. So not just selling one-on-one suits with business professionals, but doing events at their offices. Law firms, banks, financial advisors, real estate offices, on and on and on. And we do this multiple ways. One way is we could build an incentive program for them, which would mean a real estate office buys a suit for their top realtor every single month. And we come in and we measure them in front of the whole office, and it's a sales incentive. Or a liquor distributor or a car dealership where they buy the top salesman of the month a suit. And you build this reoccurring revenue with all the businesses in your community. Another way to do it would just be trunk shows for the executives and corporations. It's a great Christmas gift. They'll buy custom sport coats. We'll take the logo of the business, we'll put it on the inside, and now they're dealing out holiday gifts. Sometimes they just like to incentivize their corporations if they're going to expos or summits or conventions. It's a great thing to advertise your brand when you're standing in your booth. All of those are opportunities. And then we also do B2B partnerships. This would look like us partnering with a country club. We go in, we give a free green jacket to the winner of the country club for their golf tournament. But in return, we want you to let us host events with your country club. So they let us set up our mobile fashion bar next to their bar. They email all their members and say, Nathan Pearce, Pierce Bespoke will be here Friday, Saturday. Come get measured for Father's Day for custom clothing. So we tap into all the other businesses' networks and we let them market for us when we host events. And we incentivize them to do so with either a 10% kickback or we'll give them free product for letting us host an event with them.
My mind is just running wild with all the opportunities that are out there. And this is so fun. Like you could set up a cocktail bar. You could have, I don't know about a cigar bar, but because you have that, but there's so many different things you could do, right? To make this a fun, memorable event. And I did have the opportunity, which in part also just spurred my interest. I had the opportunity to witness uh, an employer give customized jackets to its top performers a couple weeks ago with their logo, their number one, their special color from the palette of their logo, and then their logo on the inside of the jacket. And that is such a proud moment for the employer to gift and award an individual with this, but then for those individuals to receive such a special, thoughtful gift. It just was incredible. So kudos to you on what you have built. It is phenomenal. I'm always looking for new business opportunities. Unfortunately, I know Palm Beach County is already taken, which in turn might be a good thing because I don't need anything more on my plate. But so
Well,
who is your ideal candidate? So as somebody is looking at Pierce Bespoke, what attributes, characteristics do you want them to have?
so we have two models. We have the owner operator model, and then we have the semi-absentee model. On the owner operator model, we really look for a few things. Business experience is awesome of some kind, whether you've owned a business before or you're an executive of some kind. But sales experience is the big thing. We want to make sure you have sales experience and you look the part. And everyone laughs when I say that. But the reason looking the part is so important and it's so broad is an example would be if Farmer Joe came to me, I don't care if he's the best salesman in the country. And he showed up in overalls and said, hey, man, I want to buy a custom clothing franchise. If he's not going to dress up in custom clothing to promote the business, it's not going to go very well. I don't care how good you are at sales. People are going to look you up and down when they say, what do you do? I want to buy some custom clothing. And if you don't look the part, you're going to have a very hard time overcoming that. So look the part, sales experience, business experience on top of that is phenomenal. But that's owner operator. For the semi-absentee, we also want you to look the part. Again, if you don't look the part and you're not going to represent the brand well, telling people you own a custom clothing franchise isn't going to go very far. But I think the secondary part to that and equally as important is going to be business experience, managerial experience, being familiar with holding people accountable, recruitment. Have you recruited people before? But those are really the things on the semi-absentee model that matter the most, because ultimately you can still sell, you can still measure people, but a lot of our semi-absentee owners don't want to. They want to do the big time networking, set up bigger accounts, help their sales reps, but you basically need to recruit and hold your sales reps accountable in order to be successful.
And then you had mentioned from a sales rep standpoint that those individuals are commission only.
Yep, they are. And I think a lot of people are like, how in the world are you going to find talented commission only people to come take this job? And here's the answer. What would you rather sell? Insurance or custom clothing? And when you hear how well we pay our guys and our girls, I mean, it's a laydown. So what we really look for is people that work in retail. They're used to opening a 9-to-5 store and they're tired of it. We create freedom. It's a completely mobile concept. We also make them feel like they're partners with us when we bring them on. It's a 50-50 profit split on everything that they sell. So they get to go make as much money as they want to. Here's what's cool. If you're a commission only sales rep for Pierce Bespoke and you sell 4 suits a week on our average ticket, you'll make 118 grand a year. So, I mean, it's a lucrative model for a commission only sales rep to come in. And if you're a hustler, I mean, you can make a killing. And what's cool is we don't care if you're full time or part time, we have opportunities for both. This is a great side hustle for people that are in real estate or selling insurance or their medical sales or whatever else. You get to look the part, you get all your clothing at cost. So, what better job could you possibly have? And then you get to make a lucrative, living, whether it's a side hustle or full time.
All right, Nathan. So behind you, you had started out, this is a low cost, low overhead type business, and really everything you need is right behind you in that suitcase.
Yep, for sure. So everything fits inside of it. All your fabrics, buttons, linings, measuring tools, your iPad to take the orders with, it all fits within the trunk. And then we have the training infrastructure, the technology, the POS system. Here's what's funny. I tell everyone, we do the stuff you don't want to do when you own a custom clothing business or a clothing business of any kind. All the stuff that people don't want to deal with, manufacturing, logistics, supply chain, quality control, technology, our franchise owners get to go do the fun part, which is look the part and sell the product.
I can't wait to bring some clients your way because this is so special. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for taking the time to dive into Pierce Bespoke with me today. For anybody that is interested in learning more about the Pierce Bespoke franchise brand, please feel free to reach out to me at Stacie@fusionfranchising.com. Thanks and have a great day.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe for more on the franchise life.